packed up. But anyway, that's our news for tonight. We'll be back with the interview right after this break. Stay tuned.
Have you been to InfoWarsShop.com lately? Express your inner patriot with these brand new InfoWars t-shirts. Say it loud with the InfoWars Bullhorn shirt, or educate the sheeple with the Bill of Rights shirt. Grope the public's mind with the TSA shirt. And with this shirt, you can let the dark side know of the Rebel Alliance's power. All available at InfoWarsShop.com.
For more than 6 years, I've talked on the air about creating a social network. PlanetInfowars.com is in its beta phase. We're just launching it, and I want to invite all of you out there to be in on the ground level. Planet InfoWars is about people coming together, forming activist organizations, getting involved politically, hunting and fishing, gardening, dating. This is a place for people who love freedom to meet and to talk and to write and to post information. And I give you this pledge. We are not going to spy on you and sell your data to the New World Order. PlanetInfowars.com is free, so people who love freedom can get together, connect with people who are awake and know what we're facing. Be active, organize, take action, go viral, create, contribute, resist, because resistance is victory. You are victory. It's waiting for you to breathe power into it. PlanetInfowars.com. Sick of the globalist eugenicist control freaks adding poison to your water and laughing as you get sick and die? Start purifying your water with ProPure. My friends, I've done a lot of research, and the best gravity filter out there, bar none, is ProPure. And it's available discounted at InfoWars.com. Its filters are silver impregnated to prevent bacterial growth. There's no priming required. It's NSF 42 certified. Optional fluoride filters can reduce fluoride up to 95%. Easy to set up and use. Doesn't require electricity. Purify water from lakes, streams, ponds, and wells. This filter system leaves in beneficial minerals, which is key. Save money by not buying bottled water and avoid BPA that leaches from the plastic. ProPure is the best gravity-fed filter out there. It's what my family uses. InfoWars.com already has the lowest price on ProPure. But if you add the promo code WATER at checkout, you get an additional 10% off at InfoWars.com. You can also call to order 888-253-3139.
And we are back on one of the most hard-hitting news programs in America. It's InfoWars Nightly News. I'm your host, Rob Dew. Very happy to be here, spreading the word about liberty and freedom to all the people out there. Don't forget, we got our beta test of Planet InfoWars. And this is the interview portion of our show. And we have with us, not in studio, but via Skype, Norman Horn. He's a chemical engineer, and he has a PhD in chemical engineering from the University of Texas. And he was just another guy like you and me out there. He got fed up with these body scanners. He started StopAustinScanners.org, and he is with us via Skype. Norman, how are you doing today?
Doing great. How are you doing, sir?
I am always feeling good when I'm fighting tyranny in the New World Order. So
That's right.
Tell us about Stop Austin Scanners. Why did you start it, and why should people even be concerned about these scanners for the people who've been under a rock for the last year and a half, 2 years that we've been fighting this?
Well, Stop Austin Scanners was a project of a few friends of mine and I back when we began to start up this whole legislative effort to try and take on the TSA in the state of Texas. And early on in, I guess you would say late 2010, after David Simpson was elected, there was some talk about what we might be able to do in order to, just take on the TSA and see if we could get these scanners and pat-downs just removed from our airports here. And so once David entered into the legislature, we filed these bills. Stop Austin Scanners was kind of part of the background of that, and it became a tool with which we could use. We could inform people about the various health hazards that these scanners pose, why they were also an invasion of privacy and were unconstitutional, and then also give people a means of taking action to affect their legislators from a local level. And it was a very successful project during its heyday. In fact, David Simpson once said that he felt that it was probably one of the biggest reasons why the bills gained so much support in the legislature so quickly for someone who really was, a freshman representative at the time. And we can talk about how we did that in the future. I guess I should just mention that part of the reason it was so successful, what sort of things did we allow you to do with that website in order to take action? Well, we created a system whereby you could email in one fell swoop every single representative and every senator, the lieutenant governor, the governor, and all their transportation aides, all in one fell swoop. It took you one email basically to get to everybody.
That's
and
the
you
power.
could submit that through our site, and we sent over 30,000 emails to various people in the state legislature over the course of just a few months.
Wow, that is the power of the people's internet when they decide to take action. I like that. I like that a lot. So, why should people be concerned about these scanners? I know there's two different types. I've been studying this issue since the underwear bomber incident when they started pushing this stuff.
Yeah,
and
sure.
that I put in a film that I co-directed with Alex called Police State 4, The Rise of Tyranny. And we documented that case was a false flag from top to bottom, and that it was only put there, and that guy was put on the plane in order to cause this to happen, to create the public pressure to bring in body scanners, to make people have the appearance of safety. But let's go into some of the dangers of these. Tell us about the two different types of scanners.
Sure. Well, yeah, there are two different types of scanners. They use two different types of technology. The first type uses what you'd call ionizing radiation in order to basically bounce light off your body in order to create this image. And both of them do that, but in different types of ways. The first one, again, it uses ionizing radiation, and that is X-rays. The X-ray machine is built by L3 Communications, and it's an interesting device in and of itself because as opposed to traditional X-ray machines, which use hard X-rays in order to image your bones, so the different densities of your body tissues cause either the rays to be reflected in different ways, and so where rays are not hitting the film, you get an image of your bone structure, things like that, or other hard type substances in your body. It typically passes through tissues otherwise. Now, there's a big difference between what you would do in, say, your doctor's office when you get an X-ray of your bones or of an external structure that's been lodged in your body or something like that, versus what they're using in these scanners on the airports. Instead of using hard X-rays, most of which pass through your body, and a few are reflected off the bones, which is what creates that image, or the lack of those rays is what helps create that image. Soft X-rays only penetrate into a very thin region of your external tissues. Now, as a result of this, even though the energies of those X-rays are close to the same as what you get in a doctor's office, because they don't penetrate very far and they are mostly bouncing, all of them, in fact, are not passing through you. They're actually mostly bouncing off you. You have a much greater risk of exposure and absorbance of those X-rays. So what this is, they say, oh, well, it's like getting one normal X-ray from a doctor's office. It's really not. It actually could potentially be a lot worse. Mm-hmm. And the fact is that they really haven't studied what the long-term effects of these types of X-rays would be. The DHS has really been sketchy and evasive on what sorts of studies they have done, and the things they even do talk about, they're not very representative of what actually is happening. There's a lot of questions that would need to be answered. So before we even attack, we can attack on the privacy issues and constitutional issues a whole lot, but they've also been really evasive when it comes to just the health issues. And that's just for the X-ray scanners. Right. Now, the other type of scanners, which is made by Rapiscan, which I think is kind of ironic, rape scan. But anyway, they make a different type of scanner that's primarily based on radio waves and terahertz waves. So all of these types of waves are light. They're all part of the electromagnetic spectrum, but they're in different regions. These radio waves are actually really in the microwave region. They're kind of boundary. They're kind of in that boundary area where you define, okay, that's radio, that's microwave. It's kind of in between right there. The terahertz waves are another story. Now, radio waves themselves, they're kind of there's not a whole lot of information out there to really understand what are the long-term effects of those. But what really should be concerning about that are those terahertz waves. there is evidence in the scientific literature that suggests that terahertz waves have the ability to cause resonance in strands of DNA and can basically shatter it, much like a singer who has a very powerful voice can sing a really high note and shatter a piece of glass in front of them, like a glass that which you might hold water in or something like that.
Right, right. And I believe you're referencing an MIT study that came out in, I believe, 2008 or 9, because I read that same study, and they said, it's the resonant effects of these terahertz waves are unknown, but that they could actually resonate with the DNA, causing it to unzip and mutate, essentially.
So, yeah, what MIT showed was through some complex theoretical measurements, they said there is potential here for really weird stuff to happen. And what was really concerning is that the government basically circumvented all the safeguards that were in place by OSHA and the like in order to prevent those sorts of things from entering into the public square without proper vetting. And so it may be that it is potentially harmless. I doubt it. I can't imagine why there are too many things going on here for me to be really confident in their health and safety. But even if they were, there would be other issues involved. But the fact is that they have been invasive. They have lied. They have not been upfront about the issues that they have studied. The things that they have done have not been representative of real concrete studies that give us real data. And they're foisting this upon us in a way that is completely uncomfortable and abridges all of our fundamental rights from the Fourth Amendment to be secure in our person from search and seizure. So there's a lot of health issues. There's a lot of privacy issues and constitutional issues. Besides the fact that everybody who I know of, well, I shouldn't say that may be a bit extreme to say, but there are a lot of independent sources who've said that these scanners wouldn't have prevented the underwear bomber. So even the reason why they wanted to implement these in the first place was, that wouldn't have caught him. Some experts in security fields from other countries have said, we're not going to use this. It's not reliable. A lot of Germany has completely rejected them. In fact, there's 13 other countries that have said, we are not going to use these scanners because we don't think they're reliable, including Germany and Israel and a number of other places. So there's not even really a good security reason to be using them anyway.
Right.
So why are they being used? It's a good question. I would say that it's still an open debate there, but I mean, there's a lot of issues. I would say follow the money. I think there's probably a lot of graft going on. There's a lot of corruption. It certainly is enriching the pockets of L3 and Rapiscan, and it's an awful thing that this is what we're now getting to with our abridging of our constitutional rights here in this country.
Right, right. These things have not been vetted properly. There's definitely payoffs being made. We all know church